Oh my gosh. Hey, how you doing? Sorry, I'm working really hard here. We just got these new supercomputers over here at Blizzard. They're going to be great. Really great. We have the greatest computers. What we're going to do is we're going to take the 2004 version of World of Warcraft and we're going to go ahead and run it on, you'll get this, 2017 hardware. It's quite the task, but I think we're up to it. So if you guys just let me go for a minute, I got to get back to work here.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't. Remember when you had to like spam cities and say need a tank, need a tank, need a tank during the Burning Crusade days? You don't remember that because now you just push a button that says go to the dungeon. You don't want to do that.
Someone once said that you can't go home again. But they lacked vision. And a temporal discombobulator.
Fans of World of Warcraft around the world, we hear you. I am pleased and also a little bit nervous to announce the development of a classic server option for World of Warcraft.
Alright, you're back with me now. I stepped away from my supercomputer where I was feverishly working on a new way to get this whole thing off the ground for Blizzard. I know they need as much help as possible because almost everything else that they've made, aside from a few other things, have turned to crap over time because they just tend to keep listening to the squeaky wheel or listening to the snowflakes that are moaning and groaning and crying about, this, that, the other thing, just making it easier and easier for them. Not my type of gameplay. I prefer something that's going to have more depth, more social aspects to it, more risk-reward consequence for what you're working towards. Why have they actually decided to do this? I think they finally heard the word from the fan base. You have people taking hundreds and thousands of hours of their time in life to make these replicated servers that are running a very, very legitimate version of vanilla World of Warcraft. And you can't get that anywhere else. And now Blizzard is finally cued into the fact that there's hundreds of thousands of people that would be interested in playing something like this. The biggest question is if and when they do get this thing off the ground, how's it going to work? I mean, are they going to have limited population servers where they're capped out, which presents a whole slew of problems, whereas with some of the vanilla private servers hitting populations over 9, 10, 12,000 online at one time, they're a server that never sleeps. You've got people from all over the world playing together. So you could get on any time of the day. You could get on any character you have at any level just about and find a 5-man or someone working on the same series of quests that you are. And that was one amazing thing about that. And I wonder if that's something they're going to offer in these classic experience servers, because well, it's not technically classic, but it certainly is a huge asset to the game to have such options on the table for you. I don't know if they're going to go with that or not, but I guess we'll have to wait and see whenever they get that to that point in the process. There's a lot of information out there as far as, people wanting to do interviews and little write-ups and that kind of stuff. I pulled up Eurogamer magazine, and they had a Q&A, which I'll put a link to the article in the bottom of the video here so you can pull it up and read the whole thing yourself. There's a couple of things that I immediately saw that were concerned to myself. They asked a question, bear with me a moment here. It says, how far into this process are you? Do you have a build that you can actually play internally and figure out some of this stuff? And Alan Brack, his response was, we've got some infrastructure stuff in place. We've got an old build that's up and running that we're using for reference. Most of this job is going to be infrastructure, making sure everything can work on a more modern setup. Then there'll be the design questions. Ones the community will have strong opinions about. They said, should Ubers be a 10-man or 5-person? Things like that. That immediately to me is like, what? What are you talking about? Originally Ubers was a 15-man raid instance, and then it was changed to 10 as far as like the standard progression would go on a vanilla server. 5-man? Are you kidding me? Like, that's not the same game, and if that's something they're talking about, that like UBRS, Upper Blackrock Spire, is basically the apex of pre-raid gear until Dire Maul North comes out, or excuse me, Dire Maul comes out. So how are you going to change that so substantially? That's a concern. So if they're looking at things like that, what else are they going to change that's going to make it a non-vanilla experience? It's going to take away from those things that we like about the game. What are they going to do next? Dungeon Finder, Gear Score, cross-server, looking for group, LFR? Really, really, really bad things that they did for the game. I think it really took away from a lot of the social aspects. It took away from the community that was built. It really detracted from character, name, value, and recognition. One of the most amazing things about an MMO is when you're playing it, you've put in a lot of time, you've worked really hard on your character, and you walk into town or you go wherever the marketplace is, and you're standing there, and you're wearing this really cool looking awesome particle effect armor and stuff, and it came from the hardest raid bosses or dungeons or wherever you happen to get it at, and people see that and they kind of, wow, that guy's awesome, he's got really great gear. But when you're able to pick stuff up at the drop of a hat from wherever with a bunch of people you never met before that simply just left you stay there long enough that they couldn't outvote you to get you out of the raid group, that's not really the kind of content I'm interested in, nor do I feel a lot of the people that are into playing on the private servers. But, I guess we'll have to wait and see. They're going to try to make money off of it somehow. I really, really hope they just go with a simple subscription fee, and that way you're not going to have things like the pay to win, you're not going to have the buying mounts, you're not going to have the buying, whatever else it is you can currently buy in, retail. Just these things that people don't want. They want to get away from. It's not a cash machine. You don't make the money by offering stupid piddly vanity items. You make the money by providing a quality item that people really want, that they're willing to pay for over an extended period of time. So we'll see what they do. We'll see how they handle it. I'm sure there's a couple other thoughts, comments, things people may have about the idea of having these servers. So, let me know what you think about it. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know what you guys think are the pros and cons of having an option like this. It'll be interesting to see how it develops, to say, for lack of a better descriptor. I hope for our sake they do a great job with it rather than messing it up like they have with so many other things in the past. So again, guys, thanks for checking this out. Take a moment, subscribe if you haven't already, like the video if you like the content and what I'm putting out there, and if you do hit the subscribe reminder, it'll let you know when I'm streaming, it'll let you know when I add new content, you'll be able to see that right off. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.